Hello everyone, the Chart Guys have been working on an introductory technical analysis course for quite some time now, and after surveying hundreds of traders with what would be the most sought after information regarding technical analysis, we came up with this course, When to Enter and Exit. It covers over 5 hours of the basics on when to enter and exit, and we feel after watching this course it will help build a foundation of technical analysis knowledge which will eliminate a lot of the uncertainty in the world of trading stocks. So the course outline, we go over the psychology of trading, establishing a game plan, the different indicators we use to signal a bullish and bearish entry, how to recognize support and resistance levels, poor entries, where traders make mistakes, exit targets, how do you know where to sell your trade, where to place stop losses, that's very important, minimizing losses is what keeps you in the game long term, my personal preparations, how I go about getting ready for each trading day, and then piecing it all together, utilizing all the information we just learned and how to apply that in the real world for making successful, profitable trades. As a bonus, we also include a lot of information on finding entries and exits utilizing patterns, and you can find these patterns on every time frame on pretty much any stock and commodity trading, and certainly being able to recognize those patterns can give you an edge as well. So we hope you will check this out. Again, it's an introductory level course. So if you are new to technical analysis and trying to get a firm grasp on things and feeling a little bit overwhelmed, then this course is for you. I hope you check it out. Appreciate you watching. Hello everyone, looking at some lesser popular Canadian tickers here. MJN EMH NSP MGW ICC and EMC. The last two are recent IPOs. The first two are two names that I like the most out of these charts that I was looking through, and that's just because their ranges are getting very clearly tight and a break is imminent that's going to be accompanied with a volume spike. So let's start with MJN here, and we can see the overall pattern is very similar to the other big names, CGC in the sector. We have our lows from the November 22nd and 23rd pullback, and then all December it was just lower highs and lower lows. We have the middle Bollinger Band resistance to be watching at 149. But what I'm watching here is the support that we built at 135 and then the low from 133 at the end of November. Those are must-hold levels. If we break 133, we're going to see a spike in bear volume and a quick drop leading to further downside and lower lows. So that's what we've seen happen. It happened with ACB once we broke that low of November 23rd, quick drop to the downside. So that's the last thing that the bulls want to see in the short term. In terms of resistance, we've got 150 psychological. We're right at that resistance level. And then after that, we're looking at 162. So if the bulls can start to turn things around, what we do have is a very clear stop loss level, where if you put your stop loss, let's say that low is 133, so you put your stop loss at 131. You want to give a little bit of wiggle room. And if that breaks, you would get stopped out on the dump that would very likely occur after that support breaks. So things are getting very tight. You could also make a bullish entry on a break of 150, which would break the recent high that we had seen, and it would have us looking up at 162 as the next resistance. We would need to see some bullish volume behind that move to have confidence, and we're looking for a bullish MACD cross, which obviously hasn't happened since we hit our top back in mid-November. So a tight pattern here on MJN. You can see it on the weekly time frame. Again, normal, healthy, bullish consolidation, normal decreasing volume on that pattern. And we've gone green, red, green, red, green, red, green. We've seen that in other names as well. But it's a beautiful chart of just higher lows and higher highs, stair-stepping the breakout. There's been some huge gains here, 20 cents up to $2, 1,000% move in the half a year. So big time gains, but perfect consolidation at this point, exactly what the bulls want to be seeing. So definitely watching MJN, also liking EMH, and I like this one. It's a little bit different because we're holding our higher low pattern. We have our lows, same time frame from November 22nd and 23rd, higher low at 103, higher low at 118, and now we're trading straight across. We are close to a break, and I would be looking at support of 122, a break of 122 and 118 would be bearish, and for the bulls, a break of 133 would be bullish, and have us look at 143 and 150 from there. So I really like EMH because of how tight it is getting, and we could be in for a break sometime in the next 2 weeks. Again, we're watching the MACD here, and the break in this tight pattern is going to be accompanied by a spike in volume. The weekly time frame, Looks like we've already established our lows here. 95 cents, 103, big lower wick showing bulls buying the dip. They're looking to turn things around now and see some continuation to the upside. Definitely keeping a close eye on EMH. NSP has had a much more significant pullback. We have those lows from November 22nd and 23rd. We broke well below them. They were 36 cents, and now they are acting as resistance. This bounce attempt topped out at 365, and we topped out at 355. So 3.6 previous support, now acting as resistance. Bulls have a lot longer way before turning this trend around. You can see the Bollinger Bands are getting very tight here, so a break is imminent. Key support is down at 325, 305, and that's a must-hold level, 305. But I'm not really interested in this chart because it's seen much more weakness than a lot of these other names, and there's certainly no shortage of Canadian tickers to be watching in this sector. So as of right now, after doing the rundown, looking at these charts, the last video I just did with another 6 or 7 names, I'm watching APH, ACB, MJN, and EMH as my top watch. NSP, you can see on the weekly time frame how much more significant that pullback was, giving back all kinds of gains from that run-up. We are holding some support, but still lagging behind in terms of turning this trend around. The 100-week resistance is at 353. That's lining up with that 36 resistance. And we've got the 50-week support here of 321. We'll see if the bulls can maintain that level. MGW, probably the most significant pullback I've seen on any Canadian MJ chart. Increase in bear volume and an all-out dump here in mid-December. A very nice bounce from that dump. There were certainly nice gains to be had, but we have to break 70 cents in order to break this lower high pattern, and we just topped out at 65 cents. So it's all about that 70 cents level. We did fill the gap to the downside, and on the weekly time frame, we are defending this middle Bollinger Band, and we do still very clearly have an uptrend on this weekly chart. And we can see the gains from back here. We went from 3 cents in September 2015, and in about 14, 15 months later, we saw just under $1. So huge gains, and very clearly still an uptrend. But the bulls need to break that downtrend on the daily time frame before I would be interested as a bull. So new kids on the block, ICC, definitely worth watching. And the reason it is worth watching is because the lack of previous price history leads to some big time volatility if volume shows up. So we have our must-hold support level at 69 cents. Resistance on the high of this bounce attempt. We got 102 and 104 as resistance. If we break 104, that's a significant bullish move for the bulls. And we would be looking back up at the recent highs. And obviously, if we break 176, we get blue sky breakout. Ideal scenario for the bulls. But we're looking at that 102 and 104 level and watching to see if the bulls can form a higher low now. You can see it's been nothing but lower highs and lower lows once the profit taking started. And now we need a higher low and then a higher high to reverse this trend. Weekly time frame, not much information there. Although this does look like a bull flag. Normal healthy consolidation after a huge breakout on decreasing bear volume. So that weekly chart would have me a bit more confident that the bulls could show up here and form those higher lows and higher high patterns. So I just gave those 4 names that I'm watching. I'm watching ICC and EMC as well due to the lack of previous price history. And EMC, look at that example. We hit our low at 252 and rocketed to the upside. Big time gains to be had there over that 6-day run. We couldn't break the all-time high of 398. And for any name, breaking the all-time high is the holy grail because we have blue sky breakout, big gains to the upside with little resistance. So we had 398, we topped out at 391, and now we're consolidating. Potential cup and handle pattern, and this is one of the most misdiagnosed patterns because the signs of it show up often, but it very rarely follows through. But we do have the signs here. Our left side of resistance, the cup shape of consolidation. The right side is lower than the left side. It shows the bulls unable to break that resistance. And then we consolidate. And then this would be the handle of the cup before a breakout, blue sky breakout. If this pattern were to play out, that would be what we would expect. It does not take a lot of volume to move this stock. About $5 million, we saw this huge move from 322 up to 390. So if the volume comes in here, we could see blue sky breakout, and we absolutely need to be watching EMC for that to occur, and ICC watching for things to turn around here as well. So takeaway, MJN EMH top watch from tightening range and want to see a volume spike and a break of those ranges, and then ICC and EMC due to their brief trading history. I know ICC was a reverse takeover, not exactly an IPO. I believe EMC was the same, so we need to keep that in mind. But either way, the bulls would be in absolute full control if we break the highs that we have seen. So I appreciate you watching. Certainly lots to be watching in the Canadian sector, and we will see you in 2017.